everybody, we're at Sippin' Swine BBQ, and I'm here with Lewis with RBH. And what does RBH stand for?
Rather Be Hunting.
Rather Be Hunting, and you can see that right there on their sign. So today we did the Pro.
That's right.
So when you're doing Pro, that means you're doing 4 different meats. You do chicken, ribs, pork butt, Boston butt, pork shoulder, and brisket. So let's talk about a couple of your different meats here. First one we're going to talk about is your chicken.
It's just trimming it up, brining it overnight, and then smoke it in a special sauce. And then once it's done, then you put the barbecue sauce on it.
Then you put the barbecue sauce on it.
It takes about 3 hours.
3 hours. Let's give this guy a taste. The skin is incredibly bite through. It's got a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of red pepper flake maybe? All right, a little bit of heat on there too. This is really delicious. All right, so next up on the meat category here is pork ribs. What's your style or your method on your pork ribs?
The method is a St. Louis cut.
Okay, what does that mean?
That is the style of ribs.
Okay.
It's not a baby back, but it's a full rack of ribs, and
okay.
we trim them down to make it a St. Louis cut.
Okay, and then what's the bright coloring that you got on here?
That is the sauce.
That's the sauce. All right, smoked with what kind of wood?
Apple.
Applewood. Let's dig in. One of the things they teach you in KCBS is that you want the bite to come clean off the bone, just where you bit. Too many people are like, oh, it's fall off the bone. Well, that's baby food. That's mush. You don't necessarily want that. This is the look you're going for. All right, so third up, we've got the pulled pork. And this is actually one of my favorite categories because you've got the money muscle and you've got the pull.
That's right.
What's the difference?
The money muscle is the part of the most tender on the Boston butt. It's away from the bone. It's the furthest muscle away from the bone.
Okay.
So that's called the money muscle.
Right.
Then you pull is just when you cook the Boston butt to a 200-degree temperature. You let it rest for a little while. Then when you pull it apart, you want it to still have some tug, but not just fall apart.
Not just fall apart. All right, so I got some of that not just fall apart here. Now this is really well sauced. What's on here? Can you tell us what's in the sauce, or is this a secret?
That's a secret.
That's a secret. Well, let's see what we taste here. Like I said, really well sauced. Maybe a little bit of tomato, maybe a little bit of molasses in there. All right, well, I'll leave the rest of the secret ingredients up to you. All right, so we're looking here with the last of the 4 meats, beef brisket, which usually comes in 2 presentations. The first is the slice, and then the second is the burn ends.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's a different cut of meat. But it's still attached as a brisket, as a whole brisket.
Now, do you cook it any differently?
Nope.
Don't cook it any differently.
I cook it together, and then I separate it after it's cooked. And when it hits 200 degrees, that's when I separate it, sauce it. I'll let it set for a little while, then I put it back on the grill to let the sauce tack up on it.
Right, so the resting of it lets all those meat juices kind of condense in there.
Once it cools down, it sucks back in.
Right, and then you kind of caramelize that sauce a little bit. This is incredibly tender. It just absolutely pulls apart on you. And that sauce, again, adds the counter component to the smokiness and the richness, hitting it with a little bit of acid. And
I only sauce the burnt ends. I don't sauce the flat.
Well, there you go. But Lewis, thank you so much for welcoming me in here. You got to get some of Rather Be Hunting BBQ. Is there any way that you can get it?
It's on the website.
It's on the website. Well, go check out their website. Like, follow, subscribe my website, and we will see you next time.
Look at that thing jiggle too, huh?
Oh, buddy.